Alright, so this video, I decided I was gonna do something a little bit different. I posted something on my Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Basio Cuts. But I posted something on Instagram, and it was a simple post. It just said, "How can I help you?" And man, people were asking questions and stuff, and it went like straight to the academy. People were asking, "What's the difference on the academy?" Hey, you should post an example video on the academy of the academy on YouTube. So I'm doing that. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. Part of the reason why I don't do these long, in-depth videos anymore on YouTube is because the algorithm just jacks you up. If you don't have an engagement ratio high enough, they stop suggesting your videos. And the reality of it is that most of my viewers are not barbers or aspiring barbers. They probably just want to see their next cut, their next style, or learn how to cut their kids, and that's all good. So I decided the professional stuff was going to be on the online academy, and I feel like it should be. And and so I'm gonna share one with you. This is just a your haircuts my feedback. So I started doing your haircuts my feedback on the academy only. That way it'd be more intimate. So I don't get 1,000 submissions anymore, or two. Like, I literally have an email inbox with 3,000 submissions, and I can't keep up with that. So with this, it's more intimate. I can spend a half hour on a video. I can draw things out. You'll see some of the technology that I use, and I use these on my haircut tutorials as well. We also talk business. The idea is to show you guys, some of the technology that I use on everything, and we talk business. We do a little, career stuff, and I'm gonna post more on the academy. And yeah, here's an example. We can go ahead and get started. All right, guys, we're doing this video on the road, and this is your haircuts, my feedback. This is what you guys submitted on the actual website. So there's a submission bar in the online academy. If you scroll down, I believe. But the way we're gonna do it now is you're gonna submit it in the forums. So go on the forums. It'll say yhmf, your haircuts, my feedback, and that's where you would post your haircuts. Okay. Alright, so this is the first haircut. And right off the rip, I will tell you it's a little dark in this area. It might be the camera quality, but I also think it could be he has an indent in this area. So what I would suggest to you is I'd grab a guard, I'd match it up to this. Let's say that's a 1 closed, right? I'd go 1 level lower, so that'd be like the half guard, and I'd use the corners in this section. Right in this section, let me show you let me use my art to show you what I'm talking about. So this whole section right here is where I would use my half guard to lighten it up so that it would match with this section right here. Okay, half guard in here, and that should lighten it up so it looks even all the way through. But this area looks great, man. It's perfect. So that's what I would suggest to you. Okay, so let's move forward. All right, that's a nice one. It's a pretty nice one. You got the black mask going on. I'm trying to find things that I would suggest to you. So the first thing that comes into mind is kind of silhouette, right? And let me show you what I mean here. So this is pretty much like, see how his head kind of like dips in this area right here? I would give the illusion that it does it by coming off of the head shape just like this. This is what I mean by keeping everything squared, just like this, okay? Keeping it squared, then you can fill this area with hair. The cowlick area, okay, wouldn't look like it's sticking out. See how that looks like it's sticking out? Because you give it enough length to reach this right here, okay, to reach this squared look, and then it would lay down nicely and not sprout out that way. So I would say your blend work is nice. Work on your scissor work, learn silhouette, learn structure when cutting with scissors, and you'd be able to change the game for this guy in this area right here. So Hope that helps. But other than that, man, your blend game, the line is really nice. And you're using the black mask, so that's dope. Okay. Move on to the next person. It's a bad angle. It's a bad angle. What I would say for you is kind of like the same thing as the first person we talked about. So it looks dark in this area, and it might be a bad angle, but this looks really good right here. Okay. And with these drop fades, it could be tough, man. It could be hard to keep that spread out enough to where it doesn't look so dark, but you can do it. You just got to spend some time detailing. Okay. So that's what I would suggest to you. What? Okay. And right now, guys, we're on the car to driving to Louisville. We usually fly, but we're deep this time around, so we are driving. All right, let's talk about this haircut. So it just looks like a little, like some inconsistencies in your guidelines. So see how it looks lighter in this area, but it looks dark here, and then it gets a little bit lighter here. Okay, it's just, it seems like, I want to say your guidelines probably weren't clean. And I know people say it's not a big deal to keep your guidelines clean, but I think guidelines are, keeping them clean on a fade are important. I think if your work is organized like this, then you'll be able to manage in each section, right? In each section, if this looks lighter just in this section than it does in over here, then we need to match this with this before we move on to the next panel, if that makes sense. So see how I can easily, from this guideline down, I can easily determine that this is lighter than this. So before I move on to this area, I'm gonna make sure that this and this looks consistent as far as density and how dark it is. Okay, so that's my suggestion to you. And if you have to get a little cosmetic, it's okay, because what you don't want is it to curve in like that, right? I'd prefer taking that corner in just a smidge it, so you can get it a straight line like that. Okay, that's what I would suggest to you. Hope that helps. All right, the next one. Okay, let's talk this one. So this one's going to be a little easier to work with. It looks like your guidelines were like this. This is what it looks like. It looks like they weren't clean. It looks like it was just kind of like rounded like this. See that? That's why it's looking darker in this area all the way through. It'd be one thing if it was just darker like here or here or here, but it's darker all the way through. So it looks like your guideline was rounded like this, and you never want to do that because it's gonna look inconsistent, just as this, right? What you want it to do is make sure that if this is his head shape, if it slants down some, then every guideline should slant down and stay parallel to one another. That way you can avoid this darkness that you see here. See that? See that darkness there? That shouldn't look like that, okay? That, it should match up. See how it looks here and how it looks here? Okay? This should look like this and this. That we have a nice, consistent haircut. Okay? So, hope that helps you. But I don't see a lot of lines and stuff. I think it's just how you're placing your guidelines. Okay, let's move forward. Alright, so this one, I see some issues on this side. I don't know if you're showing the steps, because it looks better here in this picture. I don't see the inconsistencies, and this is why I like one photo, just one finished photo, because it looks like these are your steps, right? So you have two guidelines there, because here there's no guidelines, but the angle of this picture is it's hard to see what your fade looks like, and it's super dark, with where these pictures look nice and lit. But I'm not seeing how this is the finished product because it looks different here. Even though it's on the other side, I don't see guidelines here like I see here. So I'm just gonna assume this is kind of like the process for you. I'm gonna move forward. And you first. Double whammy. Sorry guys. Nope. This caught it. This is a really good microphone. You or something else, you know that? Don't let that happen again. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, let's move forward. Okay, so let's talk this haircut right here. What do you think about this one, Loco? What are you thinking about this one? The ridge. Okay, so you're saying, let me make this red. You're saying this? Yeah, it's a little like
choppy and harsh.
Harsh. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, choppy. So what do you suggest to fix that?
Shear over comb. Soften that up.
Yeah, I would say like the thinning shears too could help if you're not that comfortable with just straight scissor over comb. What else? Or the razor to soften that up as well. Clipper comb could help a little bit too, just to round off that harsh line right there, that sharpness, right? Right here is a little bit of a line that looks like the one open, and then from here down, okay, is it just looks like they didn't spread it out enough, right? Like it looks like they were just kind of playing at this line with the zero, and they didn't open it enough as they went. Like they didn't go up high enough every time they opened it, so it stayed dark in this area. Okay. This, yeah, this calic right here. Okay, this calic right here. So if you're going straight up, right? If you're going straight off the shape of the head, okay, that's what it would look like. Okay. The issue that I'm seeing here isn't necessarily this area, because that's where the calic starts to lay down. It's this little missing piece that's right there. It's just choppy looking. Okay, you got to be careful. And what that usually is not cutting the calic in the direction that it grows. So you got to take like radial partings. Wherever, you know, the hair wants to lay, that's how you want to cut it, or you're going to have hair that jumps in the position that it really wants to go. So like if you're going straight, pulling the hair straight down, doing straight vertical partings, for example, let me give you an idea with the line. So see how this is growing in this direction, like this, okay? If you were to take a section there and just go straight down, as opposed to how the hair wants to lay like this, the hair that's cut up here is gonna jump over here. And then you're gonna have little missing spots just like this, because there's no hair that's gonna lay there naturally to fill in the gap. Okay? So, hope that helps. Alright, moving forward. Okay, that's a nice photo. Good camera. Okay, let's talk this haircut. No problem. Okay, so no problem. But his head shape, he has a very prominent occipital bone, so you got to be careful with that too. His occipital bone is almost up here with his parietal ridge. So let's say this is his parietal ridge. Look where his occipital bone is. That's crazy. So you got to be careful with that. You got to keep that into consideration. And then I would say you can still see your guideline here. Okay. Again, let's say this is the panel we're working with. That's just you not spreading the blend out in this section right here. Okay, so I hope you understand that. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So this section right here, this is what it should look like. Okay, this is what it should look like. So if this is your blade open right here, if that's your blade open, right underneath it, you should close the lever some. Right underneath it, you should close the lever some. And once you get here, it should be all the way closed, and that's a good spread. That's a good spread from here to here. where it won't look so dark in this area right here. Okay? Bro, I'm loving the software, by the way. This is making it fun to do your haircuts, my feedback. All right, your haircuts, my feedback. Let's check this out. Right away, I'm looking at this. Your trimmers, you need to get closer with your trimmers. It's very spotty where the stubble is. Okay, get you some better trimmers, and take your time balding little man up, because you got hair all in here, especially here behind the ear. There's some really long hairs, so take your time, because the contrast, the gradients, getting this actually bald is gonna give you an extra level of pop with your fade. All right, now let's talk about, it looks a little bulky. Do you agree? So like this area right here, it just looks bulky all through here.
It looks to me like they try to go with the grain to keep it dark on top, and transition from with the grain to against the grain. You need to work on there.
Yeah, so like I can see you going with the grain up in this area, from this area above, but from here over, this is guidelines. This is guidelines, right? So this is from 0 to blade open, from blade open to 1 open, and then you go with the grain above it, and it'll be spread out nicely, and you have a dope blend. Okay. Man, this is the funnest your haircut's my feedback. Yeah, this software is litty. Alright, so let's talk about this haircut. And I'm going to try to zoom in some, if it'll allow me to. The hotkeys ain't working. Come on, you letting me down. Oh, there it is. Alright. So, alright, let's talk about this. So, the lineup needs work. The lineup definitely needs work. Okay? Like this needs to be much more rounded. Okay? Much more rounded. So, like this little peak that's here shouldn't be there. Let me try to freehand what I would do. So I would start here at the peak. Okay, at the peak. See a little bit of hair that's underneath that? That should be gone. Then I would come here and start there, and then you have your starting point and you have your finishing point. Then you come in and bring it in, and boom, you got a nice C cut. Just like that. Okay? And then here, you need to have a nice straight line. Okay? Boom. See this? It needs to be boom. And so you got to get a little bit cosmetic with it. See these little hairs? You need to take this off. Okay? Alright, so maybe not a straight line like that, like what's on there. But let's say that's how you wanted to do your guideline. You want it to kind of rounded, almost like a drop fade, almost, right? We can do that. So let's say it looks more like this. Okay? Because you want to keep your C cup dark. Okay? Your next guideline needs to be parallel with that, and your next guideline needs to be parallel with that. So once you get to the 1 open, a 1 open's pretty dark. It should look like this. Your blade open to here should look like this. But I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like you're not taking your time because it's so choppy. You're not making sure that the clippers are catching all the hairs, right? You get what I'm saying?
Make sure to brush the debris away so you can see what your clippers are.
Brush the hair and make sure that you're cutting in the direction that against the grain, right? So like the hair is growing in this direction over here, okay? It looks like it's kind of rounding about in this area, and then here it looks like it's growing in this direction. So on each panel, you got to make sure that you're going against the grain, right? So you be going this way with your clipper, this way with your clipper, this way with your clipper, to make sure it's a nice even cut, or you're gonna end up with choppiness like this. Okay? And again, work on your lines. So that's it for this year haircuts. My feedback. Hope you guys what?
I would also say this, using the head shape is the back of the head.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, that's it. This is your haircuts, my feedback, the first edition. Hopefully you guys will submit some more photos. Again, go into the forums in the Tomb45 Academy. Go into the forums, you'll see where it says submit your photos, your haircuts, my feedback, yhmf, and I'll be looking through there for the next for the next batch of photos. Thanks, guys.